to the show and fall at your door. We got that info for you. Touchdown on that plane and buy anything. More than just a podcast for you.
Having said that, we'll go on to our next question. And looking around, only 8 states at the high school level require a shot clock in basketball. Do we think a shot clock is necessary? Do we feel as though we are not preparing our boys and girls for the next level by not having a shot clock at all high school level schools?
I'm gonna jump in before Terrence steal all the thunder.
Well, let me go
and
second.
Johnson steal all the thunder.
Let me go second then.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Yeah, they should have a shot clock. Don't make it easy. Why are we making it easy? I mean, I know I'm not all for the norm. I love change. Trust me, I do. But don't change the shot clock thing. They need to have a shot clock. It takes too long for somebody. I mean, come on. Don't do that. You're making it too easy. They're trying to change the game because they're trying to change what they want to do with these players. That's all they doing.
You know, Coach, I agree with you with that because I'm a competitor. But my question is, only 94% of these, 6% of these kids are actually going to play at the next level, though.
Right.
You know, so are they expensive? Are shot clocks expensive? Like, you know, like I'm trying to figure out the expense behind this. So.
No, they're not, man. They trying to change the game, man. They're trying to control too much. That's what they doing.
Monica, I'm like, we can't even get books in a public school. How are we finna get the shot clock?
Yeah, I'm like, are they right? I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
Come on, Terrence. Take us home.
That money plot, you know what? I never thought about the money, but at the same time, I always ask myself, we don't prepare these kids to win at the next level. We prepare most of these kids to win right now. It's nice to win state championships and districts, but if these kids can go into a higher learning and succeed, what is it all for?
Preach.
For the shot clock, I'm at Harrisburg, and we went down to Riverdale Baptist. Now, they're always ranked top 10 in the country. They had a shot clock. And when I say to see our girls that were really good, they struggled because they never had a shot clock. Now, we tried to do it during practice leading up to the game, but when the game came down, it was like, whoa, time's running out, and you're forcing shots because you're looking at the shot clock now. You know, around here, no shot clock, you could take your time, dribble, pass, cut through, and all that. But when you got a shot clock, if the team's giving you pressure getting the ball up the court, now the clock's a little bit lower. Now you're trying to run your sets, people in the right direction. And it's a difference. So again, like I said earlier, if you don't got the mentality to want to be better when you get to the next level, that first year or two, you might struggle with the shot clock. Whether from a person who's been playing under the shot clock, they move, transition, and real smooth and get ready to play. Again, it's a mentality level.
That's good.
I don't think we need it. Okay, so in Tennessee, we don't have one, but we do have, like, the player can only hold the ball in their hands for so long. But I'm just gonna be honest. The one time my son played basketball in high school, and I don't know if y'all remember who Shaka Smart was, but he used to run an offense. Like his team was very up tempo, and he called it chaos. And so our coach went to learn from Shaka Smart, and so our high school ran the exact same offense with a couple of tweaks, and we called it Havoc. And the one team that actually gave us the most trouble was the team that was able to realize that, hey, we don't have a shot clock, so we can hold the ball. And so if you're a coach who's able to leverage not having a shot clock, that's different. But most coaches, they can't leverage it. And in a lot of states, you can't hold the ball indefinitely. They do count to say this player has had the ball in their hands, and you do have to move it. But it was interesting to see how this coach was able to leverage the absence of a shot clock against our boys. And it was even more interesting to see how our boys were. It takes time. You have to have a coach that can actually regroup and force that team to play at your tempo. We ended up winning the game, but this question is really, it's interesting because based on our experience, and again, it's ours, I don't really think that you need one, because coaches should always be thinking about the tempo of the game that they want to play. And honestly, most basketball at the next level is up tempo. And if you're a coach, regardless of whether or not you have the shot clock, and you're not aware of what's happening in the next level and preparing your players for it to a certain extent, then shame on you. You're not doing your job. That's just my opinion. I don't necessarily think we need one, but I do think that coaches should be aware of what's going on in the next level. And if they have kids that are going to go to the next level, they should be preparing them, understanding, hey, the tempo is faster. And you can do that without having a shot clock.
Well, real quick, I want to add something real quick before we move on. Yeah, you could play up tempo if you got the players to play up tempo. Like Princeton doesn't play up tempo. They got that sleepy offense. They go like 25 passes before they take a shot, and then holding the ball. You can hold the ball without a shot clock in high school for 4 minutes unless somebody's up playing defense on you. See, some coaches sit in the zone if they know they can't play. So if you sit in the zone and we go up by 4, yeah, I'm going to have my point guard stand up the top of the key and just hold the ball. And he can hold it for the rest of the game until that player comes out and plays D. And then once you come in and play D, now I could put you into what I want to do. You know what I mean? If I don't got a zone team and you're playing zone, I get a little lead. Oh, yeah, we're going to hold the ball. I need you to come on man to man. Now we can put this thing back up tempo. Yeah, so it all plays a variable in our area. So if you're not up on a person at least 6 feet with a hand up on them, they can hold the ball all game. And I've seen teams hold the ball 3-4 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's tough.
Coach, you have to be able to make the adjustments. You really do. It's very interesting.
I'm in your face. Give me the ball.
So, last question of the day. What's the difference between a scholarship from a private school versus a scholarship from a public school?
I know I got to jump in.
Too high.
I mean, it's about money. Public schools, we're supported by the state. Private school, they get alumni money from all other places. That's the difference to me. Again, state funding. So with state funding,
yeah, they're much more expensive. They're expensive.
Yeah, state funding. I mean, again, I want my son to a public school because I'm saying like the private school they was wanting like 19,000 a year. I'm like, whoa, well, I don't know what you're teaching, but we're going to stay over here and we're going to still try to get the best education we can get. If I'm going to pay 19,000 a year, I need him to get a full scholarship upon graduation. I'm sorry.
I'm going to say at the collegiate level, there's really no material difference when you're dealing with scholarships as far as athletic scholarships. That goes back to head count versus equivalency. But the fees that you will find, the extras at private colleges are a tad bit more pricey than the extras that you would find at a public college. I mean, I'm being really nice when I say pricey. Like it's significantly different. The tuition at MTSU is significantly different from the tuition at like Belmont, which is a private institution. Like one of my kids goes to MTSU, which is the public school here, which is fabulous. It's a fabulous public school. And like the tuition is like half. And so to me, it's just the extra fees, but from an athletic perspective, still going to be guided by whatever the NCAA says that you can offer.
Terrence, your son went to a private college, right?
No, he went to Penn State.
Went to Penn State. That's not private?
Hello?
How much was it per semester?
No, it's public.
It's public? Okay.
Oh, I didn't even look for the semester because I know he was going for free. For my daughter. Now for my daughter, like she had an offer for the Fairleigh Dickinson up in New Jersey. I was mid-major Division I. I think their tuition was like $58,000 a year. I guess they're like a
Ooh.
private. I was like, I'm glad if you
Well,
go there, you're going on scholarship.
Well, you
But-
know, Terrence, that would probably be, but I thought it was more because I know LSU is a state that's public, and when I looked at Kevin's, that thing was like 60,000 a year. But then when I looked at Notre Dame, it was like double. It was like 90,000, almost 100,000 at Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
I
could
just,
be wrong,
tuition
but
is,
that was 7. Well, let's see, 3, 4. That was 6, 7 years ago.
yeah, but out of state tuition is always significantly
Yes,
more than
absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I
out-of-state
know, but
tuition-
still, I mean, it may be lower, but it's still almost double.
Absolutely. Like, I was like, ooh, that's a lot of money. It really is. And you just really, I think in this area, parents have to understand what they're getting into. Not a football example, but my oldest is in the music industry. And the top 2 music schools in the country are MTSU, which is public, and Belmont, which is private. And in terms of dollars, the best dollar value, it just didn't make sense for me to send her to the private college that was double when she can get just the same type of education, the same exposure as the public college. I mean, still in-state tuition, but even with in-state tuition, it was going to be over 20 grand a year. And I was like, why would I do that? Like, that's stupid. I could go to, like, it's just so much more expensive. Even we were in-state. So she went to MTSU, which is, you know, just as good of a school, same opportunities, but less than half the price. And that's a big deal for a lot of families, especially when you look at the fact from an athletic perspective, people are under the misconception that athletic scholarships mean that the full cost of tuition is covered. It is not. And oftentimes parents don't understand that the full cost of tuition is not covered until their kid gets onto campus. And by then it is way too late. It's not like you can just call up that school that you declined it and said, hey, is that offer still open? Because it's not. So
I agree with that. I definitely agree. You always have to look at the bottom line. I tell parents all the time, you have to look at the bottom line and want to know what that number is. And what you're saying is correct. Like, before Paris even enrolled at Ohio State, I needed to see that final number.
Please let me know. Let me prepare. Let me.
It's cheap to go to Ohio State either.
No, and we're in state, so I still wanted to see that bottom line, because coming from academics and coming from athletics, I knew what to look for. Not every parent knows what to look for and what questions to ask. So I knew what to ask, I knew what to look for, and I knew he was not walking on that campus until I saw that final number.
Like I deal with moms all the time, and like I have a mom who thought that because her kid's going to Northwestern, and she just assumed that scholarship meant that she would never pay another dime again. Like, even for herself, I was like, girl, the NCAA is not paying for you to come visit your baby. No, they're not doing. Like, you really do have parents who just have, especially if the kid might be the first to go to college.
Right.
They really have no frame of reference. And so it's really important for people to understand. If you take nothing from the show today, just know, all y'all out there saying that they should be grateful to play because they get a scholarship, I need y'all to understand you have no idea what you're talking about, because that scholarship often does not cover the full cost of going to school. There are other things, and you don't understand whether something's partial or full. So yeah, this is an important question that people should take note of. So I'll round it out, and this is an open question to make question number 10. In your opinion, at the end of all of this, COVID, advocacy, parent interactions, what's one thing that you would like the NCAA to do different going forward based on all the things that we've seen?
Oh, can I go first?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Great question. What I would like for NCAA to do, as well as the Big Ten, if they're listening, I would love for them to create a student and a parent advisory group. where they can create a group where NCAA and Big Ten can reach out to each institution and have an athlete from maybe each sport to represent that school, to be able to share, basically be a liaison to share what their school needs are. And also I would love for them to reach out to the parents and allow the parents to be a part of an advisory board so they can hear directly from the parents. So that's what I would like to see happen with NCAA and Big Ten, all conferences really. They should have a parent advisory group and a student advisory group.
Got it.
I'm gonna go second. I'm gonna bring the word up because I'm gonna control this whole narrative right here. Equality. I would like the NCAA to be consistent when it comes to recruiting across the board. Doesn't matter what conference it is.
True.
Take the money out of it. I'm talking about a life. That's all I'm talking about. Life, education, sports, football, careers. Be consistent and equal across the board. Take the money. It doesn't matter. The money's not going to change anyway. It is what it is. You know, some schools got it, some schools don't. But at the end of the day, I would like them to be consistent and equal when it comes to a life going to college. So I would like that barrier to be broken.
I'll just add communication. More communication between the parents, because again, a lot of parents just didn't know what was going on. It was a lot of questions being asked and answers wasn't coming back. So, you know, there's got to be get more information out for the parents and for the athletes so we all can be on the same page.
So, me personally, I'm looking for two things. One, I'd like an active parental lobby. One of the things that, like, for example, right now, the NCAA is lobbying Congress so that they, even though the name, image, likeness bill passed and collegiate athletes will begin to be able to get paid, the NCAA is really right now quietly lobbying Congress so that they won't have to pay. I think that and Congress tends to listen to the people that show up and make noise. So I would like to see a nationwide parent advocacy group that begins to lobby Congress early and often and consistently on changes that we need to see in the athletic landscape, because our boys and our girls don't have the opportunity to lobby. There's a level of fear because scholarships are not guaranteed. If I speak out, does this mean that they're going to find a way to make sure that I don't get to come back to play? Am I now, oh, I was awesome, but now my metrics are bad. There's something that they're going to say about me, and it really isn't that I've changed, it's because I've become more vocal. We know that anytime that our athletes become more vocal, there's the potential for backlash and loss of economic status, loss of scholarship status. So again, a nationwide lobbying group that's consistent early and often. And I would like to see our kids get a portion of their revenue, not just name, image, and likeness, but true revenue. It is obscene how much money colleges make in terms of TV revenue, in terms of ticket sales. Even look at the tourism industry. I mean, really, just be honest, we're bitching about football because it's not just the tickets, it's the hotels, it's the other attractions, it's the restaurants that are not going to get money, and all of that leads to real tax dollars. So I would like for someone to really go out and look at the total economic impact that our kids make, not just to the programs, but to the surrounding economies. And our kids should get a portion of those dollars set away in retirement accounts so none of them have to retire broke. That's my time. That's my time. That was question 10. Thank you guys so much for taking the time to come out today. Again, it was a pleasure. And thank you guys for listening. Remember, like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you guys next week.